These two college students took a tiny newsletter and turned it into a $75 million empire. This is the story of Morning Brew, a simple idea that started with no money, no big tech, just two students with a shared goal: to make business news less boring and way more simple. Today, Morning Brew is a household name for millions. And what I love most about this story is that these guys are living proof that you can truly do anything that you set your mind to, no matter who you are. Let's dive into the key lessons we can take away from their story. Oh, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and share your business ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear about them. So let's talk about how Morning Brew came to be. In 2014, Alex Lieberman, a senior at the University of Michigan, felt stuck. He was a business student, so he had to keep up with financial news. But every time he tried to read articles and posts on traditional financial outlets, he found the news dry, stuffed with jargon, and, well, boring. He knew he wasn't alone. His friends all had the same problem, so he started something small. He wrote a daily summary of the business news in a friendlier, more fun tone and emailed it to a few friends. It was basically the financial news, but simplified and funny. He called it Market Corner, and at first, it was just a PDF. Here's the first lesson right off the bat. Start simple. Alex didn't wait for a fancy website or a big audience. He had an idea and went with it. A lot of times, people overthink their ideas, trying to make everything perfect before they launch. But Alex didn't wait, he just got started, which put him on the path to something way bigger. Alex kept sending Market Corner out to more friends, and people loved it. He saw that people were actually sharing it, which was huge for him. But soon, he realized he needed help if he wanted to grow this thing. That's when Austin Rief came into the picture. Austin was a junior, also at the University of Michigan, who had finance experience and a love for startups. He heard about Market Corner and loved the concept, so Alex and Austin teamed up. They changed the name to Morning Brew, trying to make it feel like something you'd look forward to each morning. Now here's lesson 2. Find the right partner. Austin brought skills to the table that Alex didn't have, and the two of them could do way more together than either of them could alone. Sometimes, the best way to grow is to find someone who brings out the best in your idea. With a new name and new energy, they officially launched Morning Brew in 2015. But here's the thing, they were still just students without a single dollar for ads or a marketing team. So they had to get scrappy. They literally walked into classrooms, dorms, and libraries, handing out sign-up sheets and pitching Morning Brew to anyone who'd listen. This was manual, slow, and required a lot of confidence, but it worked. They grew their subscriber list one by one, face to face. This brings us to lesson 3. Put in the hustle. A lot of people would have given up at this stage, thinking it was too hard to grow without money. But Alex and Austin didn't. They knew if they could just get their content in front of people, the audience would come. Hard work can usually do what a big budget can't. As Morning Brew grew, Alex and Austin realized they had something special on their hands, but they knew that the writing itself had to stay top-notch if they wanted people to keep coming back. They made it fun, like talking to a friend over coffee. The tone was casual, with jokes, memes, and personality, all stuff you didn't usually find in business news. Their readers loved it because it was different from anything else out there. They'd finally made business news fun. And that's lesson 4. Know what makes you unique and stick with it. Morning Brew kept that voice consistent and never tried to sound like anyone else. And because of that, they attracted loyal readers. If you have something unique, don't water it down. Double down on it. But even as they grew, they held off on ads. For the first few years, Morning Brew didn't partner with any advertisers. Why? Because Alex and Austin wanted their audience to trust them first. They wanted to focus on growing a loyal reader base before making money off of them. This was a big decision because it meant saying no to early revenue. But by prioritizing the audience, they built a subscriber list that genuinely cared about the newsletter. So here's lesson 5. Trust matters more than early money. By holding off on ads, Alex and Austin built real trust with readers. And when they did start monetizing, their audience stuck around, which made the newsletter more valuable to advertisers in the long run. One of their smartest moves was building a community around Morning Brew through a campus ambassador program. They recruited students from different universities to promote Morning Brew and get signups. They had hundreds of college students across the country spreading the word for them. This made Morning Brew feel like more than just a newsletter. It was something you could join. Suddenly, Morning Brew had become a movement among students, and this word-of-mouth marketing was priceless. This leads us to lesson 6. Build a community, not just a customer base. When people feel like they're part of something, they're more likely to share it. By creating that ambassador program, Morning Brew got a network of students who were proud to rep the brand and help it grow. By 2019, Morning Brew had hit 1 million subscribers. This was massive, especially for a newsletter that was still relatively small and not funded by major investors. They also launched a referral program, which gave readers rewards for getting friends to sign up. And the prizes were simple. Things like a branded mug or a t-shirt. But it worked. People loved the swag and kept referring friends, which meant Morning Brew kept growing without having to spend much on advertising. So here's lesson 7. Sometimes simple incentives can go a long way. The referral program was easy to set up, but it had a huge impact. Sometimes small gestures go further than overly complicated strategies. With over 1 million subscribers, Morning Brew started bringing in advertisers. But they were smart about it. They didn't work with just any brand. Instead, they carefully chose sponsors who matched their readers' interests, like finance and tech brands. This way, the ads actually felt relevant, and readers didn't feel like they were just being sold to. Lesson 8. Only work with partners who make sense for your audience. When you stay true to your brand, your audience will trust you even when you start monetizing, and it makes those sponsorships way more valuable. And now, the big finish. In 2020, Morning Brew was acquired by Axel Springer, a media giant that owns Business Insider. The price was reportedly around $75 million. Not bad for a couple of guys who started with a PDF in their dorm rooms, right? This final lesson is simple but powerful. If you focus on adding value, the money will follow. Alex and Austin didn't start Morning Brew to get rich. They started it to solve a real problem, and they worked every day to make it better for their readers. The money, the success, it all came later because they stayed focused on building something valuable first. So, what can you take away from Morning Brew's story? Start small, stick to what makes you unique, build trust, and hustle even when it feels impossible. You don't need millions of dollars or some fancy tech to start something that makes a difference. Sometimes, all it takes is a good idea, a little courage, and the willingness to do the hard work. If this story inspired you and you want to hear more like it, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what story you'd like to hear next. And remember, your big idea might be one small step away from changing your life.